YouTube, what's going on today, man? Listen, good morning and welcome back to the channel. Today's upload, we're going to be looking at Mark Zuckerberg, the CEO and owner of Facebook and Instagram. Now, these companies and Mark himself apparently has some turmoil over there. Gary's over here telling me that Joe Biden and his team, man, they told Mark, you can't have this over there and you can't have that. All right, we got some censorship. And they're censoring some weird things. I mean, from COVID stuff to Hunter Biden's computer. It gets weird. It gets a little stinky. We're going to look at it. We're going to peel it back. Whoa. And we're going to discuss. Now, let's get in there because this one gets a little crazy. If you like today's YouTube video, don't forget to like the video, man. Drop a comment down below. Tell me how you feel about this guy, Zuck, and all the changes coming to his big old platforms. I don't use Facebook, man. My grandma does. Swear. Enjoyed the video. See you guys in there. Take care of yourself. Take care of each other. Peace and love, gang. Mark Zuckerberg, man. Facebook, IG. Chad, this is a stinky one, man. I don't know.
All right, breaking news just moments ago. Facebook announced
There's something about
getting
this guy.
rid of fact checkers and also making major changes to what content is allowed.
There's something
this is
about
just the
him.
latest move as Facebook's parent company Meta and founder Mark
can't
Zuckerberg work
put
to
my
very
finger on it.
publicly win favor with Donald Trump.
I want to talk about something important today because it's time to get back to our roots around free expression on
And just the whole ensemble, man. It's off the rip, I gotta say. This guy's always just rubbed me the wrong way, man. It's just the whole kit we got here, man, you know? The oversized black tee. I got some oversized black tees, though. The curly hair. You know, the chain with the watch. I got a chain and a watch, but it's just something. It's just, from what it was to what it is now, it's just a lot. It's a lot to unpack here, but I don't know.
on Facebook and Instagram. We're going to get rid of fact checkers and replace them with community notes similar to X, starting in the US. After Trump first got elected in 2016, the legacy media wrote non-stop about how misinformation was a threat to democracy. We tried in good faith to address those concerns without becoming the arbiters of truth. Fact checkers have just been too politically biased and have destroyed more trust than they've created, especially in the US. We're also going to tune our content filters to require much higher confidence before taking down content.
And this right here is the trickle effect of Donald Trump becoming the president. This is a great thing, by the way. But my immediate thought and question is, I wonder if this would be happening if Trump didn't get elected president.
The reality is that this is a trade-off. It means we're going to catch less bad stuff, but we'll also reduce the number of innocent people's posts and accounts that we accidentally take down.
Okay.
We're going to move our trust and safety and content moderation teams out of California, and our US-based content review is going to be based in Texas.
Dude, this is the most... You see saying the quiet part out loud, man. We're getting out of California and we're going to Texas.
As we work to promote free expression, I think that it will help us build trust to do this work in places where there is less concern about the bias.
I respect it. I just would have respected it a lot more if it was before he got elected.
Meta introduced this third-party fact-checking system in the first place was because it was accused.
What an interesting looking human. Is she real? Is that a real human being?
Of allowing foreign actors to spread disinformation and discord around American political elections. Now the company is saying it is getting rid of those third-party fact-checkers. He acknowledged that it was in part because of this change in administration that they are making these
She just looks not real.
changes. He said that over the last 4 years, the company feels like it's experienced pressure to crack down on more content, and that the Trump administration offers them an opportunity to pull back a bit there. So he is acknowledging it.
The whole point of social media is basically, giving people the ability to share what they want. And, it goes back to, our original mission is just give people the power to share and make the world more open and connected.
What do you think started the pathway towards increasing censorship? Because clearly we were going in that direction for the last few years. It seemed like we really found out about it when Elon bought Twitter and we got the Twitter files. And when you came on here and when you were explaining the relationship with FBI, where they were trying to get you to take down certain things that were true and real, and certain things they tried to get you to limit the
Biden laptop story. There's another one.
These kind of conversations, like when did all...
Look at him before. It's definitely a glow up. He's looking a lot better. I don't know. It's something about the guy.
That start.
Going back to the beginning, or like I was saying, I think you start one of these if you care about giving people a voice. I wasn't too deep on our content policies for like the first 10 years of the company. It was just kind of well known across the company
CEO
that we were trying to give people the ability to share as much as possible.
Right.
And issues would come up, practical issues, right? So if someone's getting bullied, for example, we'd deal with that, right? We put in...
To be honest, you're so annoying. Get a life.
place systems to fight bullying.
Right.
If someone is saying, hey,
burn.
Someone's pirating copyrighted content on the service, it's like, okay, we'll build controls to make it so we'll find IP protected content. But it was really in the last 10 years, people started pushing for like ideological based censorship. And I think it was two main events that really triggered this. There was the election of President Trump, also coincided with Brexit in the EU and sort of the fragmentation of the EU. And then, in 2020, there was COVID. And I think that those were basically these two events where, for the first time, we just faced this.
Yes! My teachers told me I'd be a failure. Not this time, Miss Ramaya.
Massive institutional pressure to
100%.
basically start censoring content on ideological grounds. It really is a slippery slope. And it just got to a point where it's just, okay, this is destroying so much trust, especially in the United States, to have this program.
I'm really concerned about what is going to be said right here, man. Let's just keep it locked. Let's keep it locked.
So it was probably about a few years that I really started coming to the conclusion that we were going to need to change something about that. COVID was the other big one. That was also very tricky because at the beginning it was, it's like a legitimate public health crisis, in the beginning. And, even people who are like the most First Amendment, defenders, the Supreme Court has this clear precedent that's like, all right, you can't yell fire in a crowded theater. There are times when if there's an emergency, your ability to speak can temporarily be curtailed in order to get an emergency under control. So I was sympathetic to that at the beginning of COVID. It seemed like, okay, you have this virus.
I guess.
It seems like it's killing a lot of people. Like, we didn't know at the time how dangerous it was going to be. So at the beginning, it kind of seemed like, okay, we should give a little bit of deference.
Whoa. Anybody catch that swallow?
So at the beginning, it kind of seemed like, okay, we should give...
Whoa! No such shit, by the way. Just, this is insane.
How dangerous it was going to be. So at the beginning, it kind of seemed like, okay, we should give a little bit of deference to the government and the health authorities on how we should play this. But when it went...
I'm really picking this guy apart right now, but authorities is insane. What are we doing?
To the government and the health authorities on how we should play this. But when it went from... 2 weeks to flatten the curve to, and like in the beginning, it was like, okay, there aren't enough masks. Masks aren't that important. To then it's like, oh no, you have to wear a mask. And, all everything was shifting around. It just became very difficult to kind of follow. And this really hit.
It did. He's right.
The most extreme. It was during the Biden administration when they were.
It did. You guys remember, man, it was some of the worst times ever. There was so much confusion. Everybody was just scared and like really concerned. And they should have been, and we were looking to our government. We were looking at the people in charge like, yo, what should we do, right? And they come out the woodwork with some whoop-de-woo. Here's your vaccine in 2 weeks. Take it or else, And it wasn't until they started offering Big Macs, if you get it, where I was like doing one of these.
Trying to roll out the vaccine program. And I'm generally like pretty pro rolling out vaccines. I think on balance, the vaccines are more positive than negative. But while they're trying to push that program,
debatable,
they also tried to censor anyone who is basically arguing against it. And they pushed us super hard to take down things that were honestly...
look, man, I'm not anti-vax. I'm not pro-vax. I'm pro go to your personal doctor, okay? Because they're going to know the most about you. They're going to know what they have to know in order to say, hey, listen, we think you should do this or we think that you shouldn't. Because there's underlying conditions with all of this stuff that matter. And you can't just go and listen to people on the internet, even me. You got to go to your doctor. My advice has been and always will be, go to your doctor and listen to what he or she say. Saying things like he just said were like, oh, every vaccine is great usually. Like, that's not for everybody.
Well, true. Right. I mean, they basically pushed us and said, anything that says that vaccines might have side effects, you basically need to take down. I was just like, well, we're not going to do that.
Wow.
Like, we're clearly not going to do that. I mean, that
I mean, we knew that Biden was doing
Who is
this.
they? Who's telling you to take down things that
it was
that talk
people.
about vaccine side effects?
It was people in the Biden administration. I think it was. I wasn't involved in those conversations directly, but I think it was.
How difficult is that to not be involved in those conversations directly? That's got to be strange too, right? Because you're running the company, but there's clearly you're moderating at scale that's beyond the imagination.
Yeah.
The number of human beings you're moderating is fucking insane. How many people use it on a daily basis? Forget about how many overall. Like, how many people use it regularly?
It's 3.2 billion people use one of our services every day.
That's
it's wild.
more than a third of the planet. That's so crazy.
Yeah, and it's
almost half of Earth.
Well, on a monthly basis, it is probably half. Of it. But
so
Is that real?
I want to say that though, there's a lot of like hypercritical people that are conspiracy theorists and think that everybody's a part of some cabal to control them. I want you to understand that whether it's YouTube or all these, whatever place that you think is doing something that's awful, it's good that you speak, because this is how things get changed, and this is how people find out that people are upset about content moderation and censorship.
Use your voice.
Moderating at scale is insane.
It's so complicated, this system, that I could spend every minute of all of my time doing this and not actually focused on building any of the things that we're trying to do. AI, glasses, like the future of social media, all that stuff. So I get involved in this stuff, but in general, we have a policy team. There are people who I trust. They're the people who are kind of working on this on a day-to-day basis. And the interactions that I was just referring to, I mean, a lot of this is documented. I mean, because Jim Jordan and the House had this whole investigation and committee into the kind of government censorship around stuff like this, and we produced all these documents, and it's all in the public domain. I mean, basically, these people from the Biden administration would call up our team and like scream at them and curse, and it's like these documents it's all kind of out there.
Oh, did you record any of those phone calls?
I don't think we but I think
I want to listen.
I mean, there are emails.
that would
the
go
emails
crazy.
are published. It's all kind of out there. If you go back to the COVID example, I think in that case they were doing something. Their goal of trying to get everyone to get vaccinated was actually, I think, a good goal, right? It's like
it was a good goal if it worked, if it was real.
Exactly.
Like if it was a sterilizing vaccine, if it really did prevent people from getting COVID, if it really did prevent people from infecting others or transmitting it. But it didn't.
And it doesn't.
So it wasn't a good deal because it wasn't based on real data.
Yeah, but also even if it were, right? It's like if I mean, I think that still unbalanced, knowing everything that we know now, I still think it's good for more people to get the vaccine.
Shut your stupid.
But the government still needs to play by the rules in terms of, not like you can't just suppress true things in order to make your case. So
Gary, you know what you knew what you were doing when
my,
you made me watch this, man.
My view on it is I'm not sure in that case how much of it was like a personal political gain that they were going for. I think
What are you on about? It was for money. Well, it's mind-blowing that a guy like with the cash that he has can't wrap his head around what was going on, Look, I'm going to go as far as to say the whole thing he's doing right now is a facade. He's just acting. This is all an act. Well done, man. You're cooking. Great job. I hope you make everybody happy. Dude, this is insane.
A kind of goal that they thought was in the interests of the country, and the way they went about it, I think, violated the law.
Well, there's a bunch of problems with that, right? There's the emergency use authorization that they needed in order to get this pushed through, and you can't have that without valid therapeutics being available. And so they suppressed valid therapeutics. So they're suppressing real information that would lead to people being healthy and successful in defeating this disease. And they did that so that they could have this one solution. And this was Fauci's game plan. I mean, this is the movie American Buyers Club, or Dallas Buyers Club, rather. That's Fauci in that movie. That was with the AIDS crisis. This is the exact same game plan that was played out with the COVID vaccine. They pushed one solution, this only one, suppressed all therapeutics through propaganda, through suppressing monoclonal antibodies.
There's the Joe that I love right here.
Like,
here he is.
And that
cooking now
was done, in my opinion, for profit.
Yes.
And they did that because it was extremely profitable. The amount of money that was made
Yeah.
was extraordinary during that time.
I will note, too, the company announced yesterday that is adding 3 new board members, including UFC CEO Dana White, who we know is a Trump supporter.
What don't people understand at this point?
He was stumping for Trump on the campaign trail. So it does feel like this broader shift at the company.
I'm very happy with your announcement. I'm very happy that you took those steps. I'm very happy you brought Dana White aboard.
Dana White's
he's awesome. Been talking to him for a while about that. I mean, he's like, talk about like an amazing entrepreneur. So I actually get to use our board to like have the smartest people who I can get to have around me help work on these problems. So it's like, all right, who are the people I want? Like, I just want like the best entrepreneurs and people who've created different things. And like, I mean, Dana's like this guy who, I mean, he basically took the sport from being this like, I think it was viewed as like this pretty marginal thing when he got started, right? I mean, I think John McCain was trying to outlaw it, and and you know, now it's like, I think it and F1 are the 2 fastest growing sports in the world. It's got hundreds of millions of people viewing it. It's like what Dana's done with the UFC is like one of the most legendary, and he's just like he's got a strong backbone. And I think part of what the conversation that I had with him around joining our board was, okay, like, we have a lot of governments and folks around the world putting a lot of pressure on our company. And we need some like strong people who are going to basically, you know, help advise us on how to handle some of these situations.
I don't know, chat. I don't know
why things have become sort of emasculated, because that energy is not necessary anymore to acquire meat. You know, that used to be the only way that people got meat. You had to go hunt it. So you had to go actually pull the trigger, kill the animal yourself, cut it up, butcher it, cook it. You knew what you were doing.
Yeah. Although my favorite is bow and arrow.
I prefer it because it requires more of you.
But yeah, another.
What kind of bow do you have?
Gosh, I didn't get to do it this season, but
do you know the company that makes it?
Not off the top of my head. I have a few.
You have to know.
Yeah, no, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
I can get you hooked up.
Yeah, it works.
Okay. Do you know how old it is?
No, it's not old.
Okay.
I think it's like just a compound bow that I got strung to my draw length. And
did you get someone to coach you?
Yeah.
Who coached you?
It's basically a bunch of the guys who you know, help run security around the ranch.
Okay.
I don't know. I can't get a read. I don't know.